Hey, welcome back to Real Talk. Thanks for hanging out with us. He's Joe. I'm Brad. We're glad that you're with us.
Yes, we are. Yes.
So,
yes.
have you learned any new skills or anything while under quarantine?
New skills?
Have you taken up painting or anything like that?
No, I've been a yard boy.
Yeah, good.
Yes, I love the yard. I've
Okay.
been spending time with the yard. I don't think I've learned anything new.
If you've learned any new skills, I want to hear about it. You know, because
Ooh.
maybe you YouTube something and learned how to
Have you?
build a deck or something.
Have you done?
I've been working around my house mostly.
Like
Nothing
what?
new.
Anything fun? New projects?
Just getting my yard in shape.
Home Depot? I go to Home Depot a lot.
Yeah?
And there's a line. Home Depot line.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta wait outside. But when it's raining, they kind of let you sneak in.
Do they really?
Yeah, they don't make people stand out
I
there.
like doing, what is it, DIY projects?
DIY. I said it backwards. DIY. I painted my shed because it looked like it was like 50 years old.
I'm glad you didn't take up cutting hair.
No. Oh, well,
Did you cut
maybe
hair?
a little bit.
Did you cut your wife's hair?
Maybe a little bit.
Does it look like a bad mullet?
It's amazing. I watched a YouTube video and I crushed it.
Let's
And
go.
listen,
I love
mean,
this. But you
like, I'm one of those guys who realizes I'm married up, okay? Like lots of us, we just gotta go, look, we married up.
Oh, yeah.
We got better than we
And-
deserved.
yeah.
My wife is attractive and she laid it all on the line for me to cut her hair. And I was nervous and I did it.
Did you have to wet it first?
Yeah.
And it worked. It was
Yeah.
good.
10-minute YouTube video. And she's actually sent a picture to her hairdresser and she approved.
Wow.
You know?
I think there's a lot of DIY, do it yourself,
Yeah,
DIY hair cutting going on. But I still want to give props to the barber and the hairdresser out there. We all need you.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Good.
Yeah. Let's go. What are we talking about
Okay,
today?
today we are talking about, well, doubt, a crisis of faith.
Crisis of faith.
Yes, when you have maybe a moment in your life where you kind of sit back and you start to wonder, what if what I believe isn't real? Like you start to seriously question some of the things that you believe. So I think people from all faiths, all walks, have moments in their life where they at least evaluate what they think they believe. And maybe something happens, some tragic event or something, and it makes them kind of question, like, what if it's not true?
Have you had
moments like
that? Have I had that? I think I would describe it as dark night of the soul, like moments that have been really dark. I'm not sure if I ever doubted that my faith was real or doubted that there was a God. I have friends that have. Like they've been in such difficult, dark spots that they go, there's no way there's a God. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I'm not sure I've had the moment where I've thought, I don't know if there is God, but where is God even?
Oh, where is God?
You know, I mean, I think that's even a crisis of faith. You know, I can, there's a day in my life that kind of stands out. I'll never forget this. My daughter was really sick. We're in the hospital and she's going to have surgery. And one of the doctors comes to us and she had been, our daughter was 6 at the time, and she had been coming in and out of kidney failure. It was pretty bad. And so they're going to do this surgery. And I asked the doctor, I said, is this going to work? And we had kind of built a relationship with this doctor, and she like had tears in her eyes, and she's like, I don't know. And it was really like heavy. Okay, I can handle that. About an hour later, we meet with the anesthesiologist, and he says, hey, so your kid has this horrible blood disease too. We don't know if we can wake her up from surgery. And that happens, and I walk out of sort of this little area where they were talking to us, and I get a text from one of my friends who's a pastor, and he says, and it just says, are you mad at God? And I remember, like, I thought about it, and I thought, well, I could be, but I'm not. But in that moment, there was a little gut check of, do I actually believe this?
Yeah.
Because it matters right now, right? Like, this isn't just going to church on Sundays kind of faith. Like, it matters right now what I do and don't
like
believe.
almost like a decision point.
Yes.
Where you have to choose, am I going to keep on this faith journey and believe and trust there is a God, or you're at an intersection where you could go left or right?
Yeah. Like I'm off this trail.
Yeah,
maybe,
that's
know?
interesting to
So
think about.
I remember like time froze for a second for me. And so I don't know if that was like a crisis of faith, but it certainly caused me to evaluate and doubt, and walking away from God was an option.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember distinctly as a teenager, I'm not sure it's the same. I remember as a teenager making a decision where it was like, I know this is the path. I need to go right. I'll use left. I have to make a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
I'm a little dyslexic. I have to make a left-hand turn if I want to follow God.
Okay.
If I don't want to follow God, I'm making a right-hand turn. And I chose to make a right-hand turn. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in him. It doesn't mean it was difficult. It was like the temptations and the direction of my friends and culture was like, I knew that I made a right-hand turn, and that right-hand turn was leading me away from God.
Mm-hmm.
And again, probably it's a different kind of thing, but it was like clearly presented with a choice. Do I believe or don't I?
Right.
And it was like, I believe, but I don't really care. I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Different.
And maybe even in that, it's like, okay, God, I still believe, but I'm not passionately pursuing you now. Like, I still believe you. So it's not like you're saying, I didn't believe in God anymore.
No.
It's like, no, I did, but this other thing was more important to me.
I cared about more of this. And it's so interesting because just even the definition or thought of crisis of faith. So like the simplest definition in the Bible of faith, Hebrews 6, right? Faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of, no, Hebrews 1, right? Hebrews 1. Faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. Like I'm presented at an intersection where I am not confident of what I believe. I'm not sure, and I'm not, right? That creates a crisis where I'm not confident of what I see or believe, and therefore I make decisions based on that. When you were in that situation with your daughter, though, you were presented with that, and you still chose, I believe. Like why? Like why when you're faced with really difficult news from a doctor that you still decided you could have been mad at God and turned away from God, but you didn't. You decided to turn towards God.
You know what I think? In some ways, it's easy to look back at it, like, and have 20/20 vision on it, and like maybe even overthink it. But here's one of the thoughts I have about that. Like, what's the alternative?
Yes.
If I go, you know what, God, you're not good. I don't believe you. I don't want to follow you. Everything that you've said about yourself, God, I'm not buying into that anymore. And I go this other direction. What's at the end of that road?
Yep.
Like hope in myself?
Yep.
It's not good, So I mean, even like just from an option standpoint.
Yeah. No, I
think
think
that might be making it too much of an intellectual thing, but it's like, what's the other option? I mean, people talk about it takes incredible faith to be a Christian. Honestly, it takes more faith not to be in some sense, because what else are you hoping in?
Well, I think sometimes, too, people in Christianity that struggle with crisis of faith, when I have had the opportunity to interact with them, sometimes what I do is I pull back the layers and find out that what they put their faith in wasn't actually God.
Oh, from the start.
Yeah, like they weren't taught the character of God. So when I've faced some of these difficult moments, when I've been hurt or doubt or struggle or in a dark moment, it's never been I doubt God, because I think for whatever, by God's grace, I was taught the character of God, that he's not a genie in a lamp. Like I can get my three wishes from God, and when I don't get my three wishes, then I doubt him. It's like, no, he's good and slow to anger and abounding in love, and even when I don't feel him, he's still strong and real, and even when things don't go my way, and when your kid's faced with something that's really difficult, it doesn't undermine my confidence in who he is. But some people out there who are watching this, you struggle with doubt and crisis of faith because you've been taught he's like a genie in the bottle.
Right.
And if he doesn't give you your three favorite wishes and doesn't come through when you call on him, he doesn't give you what you want, then you doubt him. Well, it's because you probably didn't have your feet built on true faith.
Yeah, so it's not, if you don't know who God is and the character of God, it's not even God you're turning away from when you doubt. It's religion or whatever
False
ritual
promises.
you've been taught.
Yep.
Yeah.
False promises, false hope. That's not actually the biblical version of God. Because the biblical version of God, even when I struggle, even when things don't go my way, even when I have doubts, even when I feel alone, he doesn't change, and he's good on all sides of that. So I think crisis of faith is real. And I think COVID-19, right? I mean, well, because people have extra time on their hands to think about a lot of things, and because it's really, we never saw this coming. And so it's caused us to question a lot of things. Yeah, even question, how can you be good in this? And we kind of talked about this early on in COVID, in the COVID Real Talks, but it's like, yeah, when it keeps dragging on, there's definitely people watching right now that the length of this difficulty is causing people to question
Yeah.
whether God is real or good or loving.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense to me.
So what do we tell them? The person who is having that little even mini crisis of faith, that evaluation period. I mean, part of it is know God, know who it is that you believe in, right?
Yeah, I'm fascinated how few people that are followers of Christ have taken a deep dive into knowing who God is.
Yeah.
I think people that are watching, one of the things I would say to them is don't take other people's word for who God is. You at some point have to decide for yourself that you are going to know God and you're going to do the work and read and listen and think, use your brain to understand the character of God. Because to the degree that you don't do that, any bit of wind or difficulty or doubt that blows up causes you to walk away.
Yeah.
And what are you walking away from? You didn't actually do the work to figure out who this God is. So
maybe that's your challenge this week. Take a little dive into the character of God and ask, what is it that I believe and who am I really following? And please stop giving yourself haircuts. We'll be out of this thing soon.
yeah, really. Mullets should not be back in style.
See you next time on Real Talk.